let's shoot off. I thought we'll just stop by IFS to see where is IFS today. Where are they on the cloud journey? And I will give you some comments from our perspective on that. And then we'll turn into a cloud project. And again, I will give you my view on what to focus on in a cloud project. And it has changed over this couple of years. 2 years back, it was a lot of early days. I spent every week in escalating issues with IFS. I don't do that anymore. So things have matured during the last 2 years. And I think you should change your focus. Maybe we should have a hands up. Customers, you could all, I know that some of you are already on IFS Cloud. How many of you are already on IFS Cloud? Good, then we can have a good discussion. And for the rest of you, I will have some advice and some information to think about taking on that journey, okay? So, current status of IFS Cloud. This is just the IFS website. You will see a lot of AI on the website. You will see a lot of commercials related to composable platform. You will see some true cloud components like Kubernetes in there. And, well, I'll take you over there and we'll just see. You will see AI, as I said. IFS Cloud. If you look at the platform, a composable platform, they will talk about Evergreen, which is the next state. This is where everyone wants to go. This is where the supplier wants you to go. This is where the supplier wants to deliver software continuously. This is where they want to have their revenue in subscription forever, for 5 years at least. But hang on now. They want you to have a low-code platform. Interesting. They explicitly tell that the value increases if you have a low-code platform. They don't clearly say flow. There are other alternatives, but they definitely see value in the low-code platform. And you guys, you already have flow, so you are in a good position. And here we get the true sort of technical components of cloud. It's the Kubernetes and the containerization. And of course, you get a quote from the first pilot, SimCorp, the Finnish organization that went to cloud as a pilot. They are now, we are now introducing Flow into to replace their Vadaco solution. Interesting enough, there are some buzzwords regarding digital twins, and I just thought we spent 2 minutes on this video, and just pay attention to what it actually says. I'll ask you a question afterward.
Running an enterprise solution is about more than just software. It's about the entire journey with the product. But how do you go from getting the job done to accelerating innovation? The answer lies in your product experience. At IFS, our customers deserve only the best, and we're constantly challenging ourselves to provide that. From your experience of interacting with our software, to how you learn, discover, and implement new capabilities. We're driven by our commitment to provide the best experience for you today and into the future. Whether you're a technical, application, or ad hoc user, our platform combines an intuitive and connected end-to-end experience. Tailor your solution to your specific needs and ways of working. Automate processes and tasks in an easier and more intelligent way. Integrate IFS Cloud into the bigger picture of your business and IT landscape. Increase employee engagement across your organization. Run evergreen and continuously update to access the latest innovations. Delight your employees and customers and secure their loyalty. At IFS, we believe in the power of harnessing the voice of the customer. This drives our investments into product experience, which is at the heart of IFS Cloud, and it helps us to take your experience to new heights, so that you can focus on solving problems and deliver flawless moments of service that delight. Ready to be your best when it matters most?
Okay. Was it professional? Was it sort of hard to argue against? Everything is sound, everything is clear. Would your top management approve of this? Probably yes to all answers. But did it give you any hint about how to handle your documents, your integrations, your end user training? No. So wherever you go on this website, you will find information. There are loads of information that will give you a high-level overview. And that's fine, because that's what that forum is for. If you play the video on AI, it will ask you if you want to drive innovation. Anyone who doesn't want to drive innovation? It powers intelligent business. You think your management want that? Yes, of course. But this information is for you and your managers to tick off IFS as a solid vendor. Yes, IFS is investing. Yes, we have chosen a software that will continue into the future. We can continue with IFS, but that's all it does. It leaves the rest of the questions to you guys. How do I take on the move from an earlier version to cloud? How do I handle my integrations? Blah, blah, blah. All the traditional ERP upgrade work is still with you and us. Is that a fair statement? If we look at where they are, where we are jointly with IFS on cloud, cloud was launched 21. We have a concept now of two main deliveries every year, R1 and R2, and they produce monthly service packs with accumulated corrections on top of that. The concept is there, has been tested now for a couple of years. It runs quite smoothly. The current release is 24R1, introduced some new functionality, especially an AI co-pilot. Still very, very simple task performed by that AI component, but still, it's a starting point. And it proves that the concept will continue and produce new features. So in January, it was 250 customers live. And IFS told me that they have 500 projects. So I put a small question marks because the information came from IFS. So it might be somewhere between 150 and 200 customers live, maybe 200 to 500 projects. Doesn't really matter. From my point of view, and my message to you is that we can tick off, say, IFS is clear. I can go to my manager. I can say IFS is investing. We are on a software that will continue to serve us. And I think that's different from the message we had a year, maybe 2 years ago. This is clear. It works. It's not perfect. there is the small detail of there is not an alternative. So everyone is going this way. Not only IFS, everyone is going into a cloud solution. But I think that's the message from us. IFS is investing in this, and you can jump on the train without hesitation. The only thing is that you need to get a decent financial deal with IFS. Maybe not a small detail, but technology-wise, in terms of how they set up the cloud structure, it works, it will work. Okay, so that's the first statement. Any questions or? Good? Good. Then, what shall we expect from IFS Cloud or from any ERP cloud? It's not like what we have in the cell phone. It will never be, because this is what I call category 5 to the right. It's full cloud because it's designed for that, it's produced, it's pushed out, and it's consumed that way. I don't think ERP in a while, for a long time, will have that position because it's not consumed the same way between you customers. IFS will push the standard software 24R1 to the concept of build place. I'll talk about that in a second. That's the standard. But from that point on, you consume it differently. Okay? Here is a statement again. Where are they in the terms of processes? We are between stage 3 and 4. It's not fully automated. There are still, with 150 customers live, there are still things to discover. There are things unique to individual customers, maybe to you and your setup, that has not been tested earlier. So there might be hiccups. But in general, the concept is working, the community is learning, IFS Cloud Ops is learning. So this is a statement on where we are. I'll come back to how to navigate in this situation. Okay, so that's a little bit about IFS and our perception of where they are. Looking back at the last couple of years then, as I said earlier, in the early days, I spent some time in escalation. I got to be very close to some of the IFS Cloud Ops managers in order to escalate tickets. Because the major difference between a traditional upgrade and a cloud upgrade is not that you have to test, or is not that integrations will be late, or is not that some part of the organization doesn't have time to do the testing, etc. We all know what ERP upgrades contains. The thing with cloud is that everything is done through service requests. So you have to plan for that. You cannot call a technical guy saying, well, I need to refresh the environment. As soon as you want something from IFS Cloud Ops into your build place, it's a service request, and it could take an hour, it could take a week, it could take 3 weeks. And that's something we have learned to navigate through. It was, as I said, somewhat cumbersome in the beginning, but it's definitely a lot better. It's not 100% predictable, but it's not risky. Something to notice is that when you sign up for a cloud license with IFS, there is an SLA both on critical incidents and on IFS managed cloud when they host your use place. But that only starts after go live. So during the project phase, if you have a critical situation and 5 consultants are waiting for something, there is actually no SLA from IFS. So that's where you have to drive the escalation, more or less personally. You have to find someone who can support you. It centers around this build place, and the build place is like a mailbox where IFS communicates. This is where they drop everything you request. This is where you have the portal, where you request service updates, or where you request new releases, etc. And it's something that we in the community have to learn about, both on the IFS side and customer and partners. We have to learn how to treat this and how to use this. You could work with build place to the very letter, and you could build a lot of administration in there, or you could find something lighter, saying we don't put everything through GitHub or DevOps when we promote a new lobby, for instance. So we are learning how to find that balance of using the tools in the right way and where to actually leave the tools outside. I'll get back to this in a second, but this is what it centers around. This is an IFS picture, and I took the liberty of highlighting some of the words because the meaning changes. And I want you, if you haven't seen this, if you're not on cloud already, you should read the highlighted words specifically, because it is your solution. And you are, as a customer, you are responsible for the build place. Nothing happens if you don't order it. It's supposed to be a self-service solution. Again, either a consultant or from a partner or from IFS could support you. But if you don't order that, if you don't allow us into the build place, it's your place. You own this. You have everything you need. You have the tools. You have the methodology. But don't expect IFS to do anything in here. The old environments called IPE, where they had your build, your specific configuration set up, they don't exist anymore. You have to take responsible for what you put on top of the IFS standard release. And it's nothing specific with IFS. It's the same with every ERP vendor. They ship standard software. You have to take responsibility. Okay. Again, we are quite comfortable now with what environments that is needed for an upgrade. We are quite comfortable with how to move stuff between the different environments. And as you see, the current situation, if you're on apps 9 or apps 10, we will take a copy of that and we'll put that in an upgrade place. And we do recommend everyone to upgrade and run the existing upgrade scripts, because then you will get your data into the latest release of IFS Cloud. There is an option. You can choose between doing a fresh install and migrating data, or running the upgrade scripts, and we recommend the latter. Because looking at the new functionality in IFS Cloud, it's always helpful if you recognize the data, if it's your data. And one of the experiences that we have so far is that data cleansing, data consolidation, data readiness is one of the issues in an upgrade project. It takes time. has nothing to do with cloud, really. But since we have these different steps of moving between different environments, the earlier you are ready, you have correct data, the less time you need to spend in the project with data errors later on. When you buy IFS licenses, you will get a build place. So that's included in your license fee to IFS. It's an Azure environment where you have all the Azure tools like GitHub and DevOps. There is also some other portals from IFS in there. You will get a welcoming letter saying, welcome to IFS Cloud. Here is your access to your build place. And the first thing you have to do is to assign the technical people that are allowed into your build place. It could be your partner or IFS consultants, or if you do it yourself. So again, we have quite good understanding of how to use the environments. At Novacura, we use IFS methodology for any upgrade projects, but we have learned to put in some extra things and remove some of the standard things. One of the most important stuff is that we skip the PowerPoints. We try to work directly into the upgraded solution. So the blue box at the top is immediate installation. So every workshop we do, we try to work in the new cloud release. So when we talk about a process, a feature, or a way to work, we want you to see the new application, we want you to see your data, and we want you to take a decision. Is this good enough, or do we need any enhancements to this process, or can we tick it off? Again, most of the items here is not cloud specific. It's ERP activities. Take care of your data, your integrations, train the people, perform the testing, etc. It comes with quite a lot of good tools like test scenarios to start with. The test scenarios then turns into end user instructions, and it continues to live on as a test catalog for coming updates in the future. So that's quite a good package of content that comes with the methodology. Okay, I think this is the main message from me today, and that is the 90% of this work is not cloud specific. It's an upgrade. You need to do the work. But you are entering into a different world. As I said earlier, the evergreen state where we don't take a big upgrade every 5 years, but instead take a small release update every year. That's the big change. And the upgrade to cloud, don't look at that, upon that as your last big upgrade. Look upon it as your first iteration of the new cloud life. I'll explain why. The immatureness of the processes, some limitations. Yes, there are limitations. You cannot anymore, you should not work directly to the database, etc. You should work through APIs. The users have a web interface these days, nothing else. So yes, turning into cloud is in some context a different world. But don't work against it. Accept that and work with it. move away from older ways of working into this new way of working with cloud solutions. And don't go there without any benefit for the business. I know it's easy to say, we're just going to do one-to-one. We are not going to add anything. But if you are asking for money from your management, and if the cloud version, which it does, contains new features, better functionality, better lobbies, what have you, why don't include them? It's quite easy to find some of the things. I've listed a few things that is beneficial for you customers to move to the cloud. So find some of the things that you want to accomplish with the first step into the cloud. The bullets that I've highlighted are the things that you could do something about. The points that I haven't highlighted, you will get anyway. So signing up for cloud, going to this cloud, you will have a predictable cost over time. Maybe that's something your finance manager wants, because it's a subscription. Subscription is the only model. You can have a debate about it, but that's how it's going to be. Don't lose any sleep over that. Negotiate, find the right offer from IFS, but don't lose any sleep over that. It is what it is. The same with accessibility. You will have your web access to all the applications. With the new Arena interface, you can do more, but it's in there. You don't have to fight for it. You have to pick it up, you have to configure it, you have to learn about it, but you don't need to bother about the backbone. It's there. Scalability, it's in the concept. You don't have to bother about it. But the highlighted bullets, spend the time there. Looking back, we can see projects where we spend time in the wrong place. And so this is an advice. This is where I think you should spend the time. Don't go into a cloud saying, this is an upgrade, we'll take the evergreen later. Don't do that. Think about the future. Think about your organization taking the next step to, 27 R1. What components do you have in your solution? IFS, Flow, some integrations, some reports. What solutions do you have in the future? Think about that and think about the process of evaluating those. Because you will do it every year in the future. IFS releases new features every 6 months, R1 and R2. We don't see any customer really taking every single main release. Right now, I think the majority of customers I talk to say once a year is enough. We can cope with one major release and maybe a couple of service updates. One customer asked, how long can I stay on a release? We don't want to move. And IFS says 3 releases. They support 3 releases back, which means 18 months. And again, don't fight that. Try to use the benefits of that. Try to find a way in your organization where this will be the normal standard. Tell your management, your organization, we will release a new IFS release every 12 months. Or there will be 3 releases every year. One of them might be new IFS functionality, there will be new flows in there, etc. But try to get that thinking into your organization. If you don't do that, you will have a technical solution and a business that is separated. my advice is try to find the business people that could contribute into the technical solution as well. Because look at the bullet where I say, the third bullet on the second section, if you want something new, if you want improvement in the finance area, for instance, how does that come about? Who is going to drive better controlling or some improvements in any given process? Find that person, find that the forums that is going to drive that new functionality. Because that is the future in cloud. Start thinking about a release thinking where you already have assigned people to think about the next step, to think about, can I tick off, can I approve 24 R1 or 26 R2 in the next step? And that's why I included this little fellow to the right here who does a lot of small jumps, because I think that is the mindset. Going back to one of the biggest obstacles we have seen that actually stopped at least one of the cloud projects for now is data readiness. Think about corrupt data, and if you are not aligned in the organization with your data, are you then going to jump with inconsistency in the data? No, you have to fix that. You have to control that. And as soon as you do it, the better you're off continuing jumping. And I think this is the main focus. Don't focus about risks in the cloud technology. Cloud technology is there. It's Azure technology. IFS is building. Yes, we're not 100% up to speed because we only have 150 customers live. But don't bother about thinking about if the Kubernetes is working or not. The technical guys turn it on, then it works. Think about the processes. Think about this release cadence. Think about your organization. How do we get new stuff into the solution? How do we test it in 30 minutes instead of 3 weeks? How can we automate? If we work with standard IFS, we shouldn't spend more than minimum time in testing standard functionality. If we then add Flow on top of that, we, Novacura, we can test the connectors. The Flow will work in 24 R1, 26 R1, what have you. So we want to build together with you a very efficient machinery of how to work with IFS, how to work with Flow on top, and make sure that you get an updated solution with IFS and Flow in an efficient manner. Because this is why IFS said, get a low-code tool. I'm not trying to say that there won't be any sort of traditional ERP activities. There will be shit happenings with your integrations, with your documents, with your translations. You need to watch out for the global extension packages because they are not ready in all countries. So we need for every single customer to make a plan. We need to evaluate the integrations, the third-party components, the IFS readiness, but we can do that. It's work. Yeah.
Do you need more reference system when you got on cloud because of the frequency of the upgrades?
More reference?
Yeah. You like to update the test system with new data from production, and you could get some updates from IFS and development at your own.
I don't really get the question. I mean, the process as such is very clear, and I mean, right now we have if you talk about references, we've been including 12 cloud projects, but what I'm trying to say is that the steps to take any customer to cloud is predictable. We can do that. But I'm also trying to say that you need to understand your responsibility and your future in this. So I'm not sure if I understand your ask for references.
Reference system. If you get the upgrade in test, you have to test it, and if you find something, you go to the next reference system and say, okay, now it's good. Then you can go to production, and you have your own developments.
Yeah.
Is it enough with 3, or do you have to have more when it's so frequent?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, okay. So in standard, there are three environments, and we go through 3 steps. You could add a 4th for an operational readiness test. We do that. And inside Novacura, we also have a couple environments where we test connectors, we test new releases, etc. So we add the level of security that we need to be comfortable with what we put in production, both in terms of IFS functionality, but also in terms of flow functionality. There. Okay. Oh, I have to finish. Okay, organization, we talked about that. Basically, it's 3 pillars that you need to take care of, and this is our setup for an evergreen support. To the very left, it's the technical side, handling that build place. We know exactly what to do. We can do it on your behalf. We can support your team doing it, but you need technical expertise to be professional in handling the build place. The second part is what I talked about, finding the new enhancements, how to do that, how to go about that. It's a process where we can support you in reading the release notes and sharing with you things that we think you could benefit from. And it's actually what we do with Flow a lot. We find the gaps, and we fill the gaps with good flows. We can do that together with you. And the third part is actually having a continuous support operation that supports you and your users. Okay, there are some things to consider here. Of course, you need the license agreement with IFS, and there are some things to be considered, especially if you are now on apps 10 or apps 9. You need to consider some timing, and we can talk about that when it comes to IFS licenses and how to navigate the support if you are not on cloud by the end of March next year. So we can talk about that. It's an ongoing discussion with many customers right now. I think I mentioned that. Yeah. And start with the things that you can start with. You don't need to wait to start cleaning data or to think about your internal organization, how to set that up for an evergreen situation. You can start with that immediately. We know that integrations need to be reworked since we have a different way of connecting with OData. We know that Aurena is the interface that we are going to use. So the combination of Flow and OData. If you haven't started, look into that. Do that immediately. And there are some things we can help you with. So don't hesitate. I will be here. We can talk much more about your situation and your next step.